A fire dies without oxygen. Why are you suffocating the very knowledge that built you? Why do men learn, level up, gain wisdom, and then lock it away like it's a secret? A fire dies without oxygen. So if the next generation is weaker, more lost, more distracted, it's because the flame was choked. The knowledge was gatekept. A fire will die without oxygen. There was a time when knowledge was passed down like survival itself. Man to man, father to son, OG to young soldier. Game wasn't hidden, it was handed down. Now, we live in a world where men pretend they figured it out alone. People gatekeep information to feel superior, and the youth are left to learn from chaos. A fire dies without oxygen, and that's exactly what's happening. You've watched it happen in real time. Standards dropped, morals weakened, discipline disappeared. The image shifted from the articulate, revolutionary, sharp-minded black man to a culture that glorifies confusion, chaos, and comfort. And you're wondering why? Because the fire lost its oxygen. A fire dies without oxygen. Look at Marcus Garvey. Garvey was looking at a people stripped of identity, disconnected from power, dependent in a world that respected strength. No structure, no shared direction, no economic backbone. A scattered flame. He understood something most men still don't grasp today. If you don't pass down the message dies with you. So he built something bigger than himself, the Universal Negro Improvement Association. And this wasn't just an organization, it was a vehicle for ideas, black pride, self-reliance, ownership, global unity, and most importantly, he made those ideas loud, relentless, and unavoidable, because a fire dies without oxygen. These ideas didn't disappear when Garvey died. They traveled. They reached a man named Elijah Muhammad, and Elijah didn't create from nothing. He absorbed Garvey's blueprint: economic independence, separation for strength, discipline and structure. Then he refined it, organized it, and built the Nation of Islam into a machine. Now watch the pattern. A fire dies without oxygen, but this one, it was spreading. Then comes Malcolm X, a man who was lost, imprisoned, searching for knowledge. And what does he find? Not random motivation, not scattered ideas. He finds structure, he finds philosophy, he finds a flame that has already been burning. Garvey to Elijah, Elijah to Malcolm. That's not a coincidence, that's continuity. Malcolm himself spoke on Garvey's influence, acknowledging that Garvey was one of the first to wake black consciousness on a global scale. He didn't just inherit the flame, he turned it into a wildfire. Sharp speech, global impact, unmatched presence. So think about this. If Garvey had stayed silent, if Elijah had gatekept, if that knowledge was never passed down, do you ever get Malcolm X? Or does the greatness die before it ever had a chance to exist? A fire dies without oxygen. So this is what you're not understanding. You might not be the final form, you might not be the foundation, you might be the foundation. The man you teach might become the man the world remembers. The knowledge you pass might become the weapon that changes everything. So again, I'll ask you, are you feeding the fire, or are you the reason it's going out? A fire will die without oxygen. So tell me, if you had the blueprint to avoid pain, avoid mistakes, avoid wasted years, would you pass it on or protect your ego, hide it behind a paywall? A fire will die without oxygen, and knowledge is oxygen. When you refuse to teach, when you refuse to guide, when you let your pride stop you from sharing, you're not protecting your position, you're weakening your people. And it gets worse, because on the other side of this, you've got men who are too proud to learn, too proud to listen, too proud to sit down and be the student. You always want to be the alpha, the smartest in the room, the one with the answers. But let me tell you something real. That mindset will burn you alive. Because while you're trying to look powerful, you're missing knowledge that would have saved you time, saved you pain, saved you from mistakes you didn't need to make. A fire dies without oxygen, and pride is what suffocates it. You don't grow by guessing, you grow by guidance. You don't win by ego, you win by execution. You don't level up alone, you level up through legacy. So why are you acting like you don't need anyone? And I know you've been through things. I know you've had to figure things out on your own. And that's exactly why this matters. Because imagine how much further you'd be if you had the right information at the right time. A fire dies without oxygen. So if you want strength, if you want structure, if you want your standards back, then the responsibility is simple. Learn from those above you. Teach those below you. That's how movements are built. That's how cultures stay strong. And that's how men will stay sharp. So ask yourself this, are you feeding the fire or are you suffocating it? Because the moment you stop sharing, the moment you stop learning, the flame dies. Do not be deceived.